So, one of the true blessings of the Canadian immigration system is the open work permit process, especially as it relates to married couples, where people can actually come to Canada, start earning income and support their partners while they finish their education or finish their temporary work permits. Now, what is not a blessing is that the application process can get a little tedious. But lucky for you, tedious is my middle name, and no application process is going to be more tedious and time consuming than mine. Which sounds really sad and disappointing for me, but it is good news for you. So in this video, we'll beat the tedious by going over the complete application process for open work permit outside Canada. We'll cover where to find the application packet, a brief overview of all the forms that you need, all the supporting documents that you need to attach, how to pay your fees, and finally where to submit the application online. Now, I'm going to be stressing more on the open work permit for spouses in this video, but the concept will hold true for anyone who wants to apply for open work permit from outside Canada as long as they meet the eligibility criteria. For those who don't know me, my name is Suyash, I live in Toronto and I make YouTube videos in my spare time. And all my services are completely free and open, just like the work permit that we are going to apply for. Let's begin. Okay, so before we actually get started, you have to determine whether you are eligible to apply for an open work permit outside Canada. So if you don't know your eligibility, then I've made an entire video explaining what an open work permit is and how to determine whether you're eligible to apply for open work permit inside or outside Canada. So check that video out first before you actually begin with this video. Otherwise, this video is not going to make much sense. All right. So now that you've determined your eligibility, then you are going to get to this page, work permit, how to apply. I'm going to link this in the description below. You're going to scroll down. This is where you're going to select outside Canada. Remember, in this video, we are only going to cover open work permit outside Canada. All right, specifically for spouses. All right, it may apply to individual applicants also, but this video is specifically centered at open work permit application for spouses. All right, so you're going to select outside Canada and select get the application to work in Canada. Then you'll get to this page. Scroll down again. This is where you'll make the selection. Online is recommended, so select online. Then this is where you will select the country where you're applying for. For the purpose of this video, we are going to stick with India, but select whatever country you are applying from. All right. So I'm going to select India. Then once I select India, I get a set of instructions. So as you can see, there's two different sets of instruction guides. One, the generic instruction guide, and the other is the visa specific requirements. Now, this visa specific requirements can be different for each country. Some countries actually don't even have the visa specific requirements. So whichever country you're applying open work permit from, definitely make sure that you also submit the documents for the visa specific requirements. It's extremely important. All right. So first we are going to look at the instruction guide for India. Then we are going to cover the visa specific requirements. All right. So I'm going to click on instruction guide. And it's going to open up this page, Guide 5487, applying for a work permit outside Canada. All right, so once you get to this page, it's going to give you a brief overview of the entire application process. And if you are familiar with this website, if you can just follow these instructions, you don't even need to watch this video. But I'm going to make this video anyway, so stick around if you feel the need to watch the entire application process step by step. So we are going to get straight to step one, gather documents. All right. So the first document that you will need is a valid passport or travel document that guarantees your re-entry to the country, which means your passport should be valid and it should not be expiring by the time you complete your work permit application, if your work permit application were to be approved. So if your passport is going to expire soon, make sure you first renew the passport so that its validity is increased and then do the application. All right. And you can submit the digital photocopy of the passport, which we are going to take a look at when we actually do the online application. All right. Next, 2 photos of yourself and accompanying family members that meet the visa application photograph specifications. So because we are doing the application online, you don't need to provide physical photos. You can just upload the digital photo. So we are going to take a look at that when we actually get to the online portal, when we submit the application. All right. So hold off on this one for now. Next is proof of employment in Canada. So because this is an open work permit, it does not require a offer letter or a proof of employment. So you can skip this one. All right. The third one is proof of relationship. So now, because we are making this video from the perspective of a applicant whose spouse is already in Canada, either on a temporary student visa or a work permit visa, you will require a proof of relationship, most likely a marriage certificate which is valid and authentic. So definitely get a marriage certificate, all right, if you don't already have one. Then other documents. So what are these other documents? So all the documents that are not already listed here and are country specific, what we saw here, visa office requirements, are other documents. So let's take a look at these documents. So I'm going to open this link in a new tab, and this page is going to open up. So this is also a document checklist that you will have to submit along with your application. All right. So let's take a look at the documents listed in this checklist. So if I scroll down, it says original valid passport and a photocopy of biodata photo page. So because we are doing the application online, you don't need to provide the actual physical passport. You can simply provide a photocopy, a digital photocopy of the front and the back page of the passport, and any center or middle pages where there are stamps on your passport. All right. So combine all that and upload under the passport section when we do the online application. So we are going to get to it later, but this is what you must submit for the original passport. All right. Next, work permit applications. So for proof of education, you will provide the certificate or completion certificate or degree and mark sheets of the highest degree that you've achieved, which means if you've done a bachelor's and a master's, you only need to provide certificate and mark sheets for the master's degree. If your highest degree is the bachelor's, you'll do the same for that. All right. So next is proof of work experience. So this is fairly straightforward. If you've been employed in India, then you are going to submit the proof of work experience, which can be in the form of your salary slips, your offer letter, your reference letters, and your Form 16 or your TDS. You can also submit your bank statements showing a recurrent deposit from your employer into your account. All right. And obviously your salary slips or your tax statements or pay slips must have the contact name, address, and phone numbers of the employers. All right. Next up is proof of personal funds. So include income tax returns for the past 2 years, bank statements or books from the past 3 months, basically transaction history from your bank account for the past 3 months, and property documents or other proof of income or investments. This is your proof of income. If you have any other proof of income, you are going to attach that here as well. If you have not filed income tax, so if you were not employed for the past 2 years, then you can obviously skip that, but don't skip the bank statements or the transaction history. All right. Obviously, this is the video for spousal open work permit. So you will have to provide a marriage certificate. If you have a child, you will have to provide their birth certificate as well. Next up is family information form 5707. Again, so when we go to the online portal and start doing the review of the forms, we'll cover this family information form. So for now, these are the documents listed in this checklist that you must also provide along with the documents listed here. And you're basically going to combine all these documents and upload in a specific client information section in the online portal. And I'm going to show you all that in a second. Okay, so now let's actually get to the online application and get to our upload page for all our forms and supporting documents. Okay, so once you know what documents to submit, the next step is to actually go to the online portal, create the account, and start submitting the documents and forms that you need to complete this application. All right. So for that, you'll come back to this page where you selected online and your country, and then you're going to click on create an account or sign in. Okay. Then if you don't have an account yet, then you're simply going to click on register and create the account. Otherwise, if you have an account, you're going to click on sign in with GC key. Since I already have the account, I'm just going to click on sign in, and I'm quickly going to log in. So once you sign in, then you will come to this page where you can click on start an application and apply to come to Canada. All right. Then this is where you are going to select visitor visa, study, or work permit. Now, this is again the tediousness of the process. It makes you determine your eligibility again, and you will have to do this. So let's quickly determine our eligibility for open work permit outside Canada. All right. So what would you like to do in Canada? We are going to select work. Then how long are you planning to stay? Let's select temporarily, more than 6 months. Then select the code that matches the one on your passport. Since we are applying from India, our passport is Indian. So we'll select IND. What is your current country of residence? So it is India for this case. Next, do you have a family member who's a Canadian citizen or permanent resident? So for this scenario, your family member, your spouse actually is a student or temporary worker. So this does not apply to you. All right, this is where you enter your date of birth. So let's just go with the random date of birth, 1993, January 1st, and click on next. Then, are you a lawful permanent resident of US? So you're going to select no. If that's the case, check next. You have a job offer and your employer so because this is an open work permit, you don't have a job offer, so you're going to select no. Check next. Here it's asking if your job categories actually you plan to work in one of these categories. For most of you, I'm guessing this would be no, so let's just go with no. Will you be coming to Canada under an active policy? So just select no. Are you a spouse, common law partner, or dependent child of a person? So this is actually the case because your spouse is either a student with a study permit or has a work permit with the National Occupation Classification O, A or B. Remember, they have to be working under this NOC. If you don't know what an NOC is and how to determine your NOC, then there's a video that I've made that should be showing up on the cards here, linked in the description below. I explain everything about NOC, all right? But at this point, I'm guessing it should be this NOC. So you're going to select yes. Have you recently graduated? So what we are assuming for this case is you're the spouse who's in India, you've never graduated from a Canadian institution, so you're going to select no. All right, then check next. Marital status, so yes, you're going to select married. What is your province of destination? For the purpose of this video, let's go with Ontario. Select next. So it says you are eligible for open work permit outside Canada. So this is a good sign. Now you can proceed with the application. So you're going to click on continue. All right, and click continue again. What type of work permit do you want to apply for? So this is where you are going to select this category, a work permit for a spouse, common law partner, or a child of a skilled worker or an international student. All right, select next. Have you ever committed, been arrested? No. Have you had a medical exam performed by IRCC? So for the purpose of explanation, we are going to select no, assuming that you have never had a medical examination, so that I can show you how you can get that. All right, so select next. Have you visited or lived in any one of the designated countries for 6 consecutive months in the last year? So to see what the designated countries are, you can actually select this question mark and click on this link, but I can tell you India does fall under that list. So if you click on this link, it's going to take you to another page, and India would be in the list of designated countries. All right, so you are going to select yes, but make sure if your country is not in the list, then you can check no. So always check that link if you're applying from any country other than India. All right, I'm just going to make this video for India, so it is yes. So based on your answers, you need to get a medical exam performed by an authorized doctor. So we are going to look at the medical exam details later, but right now just click next. Do you want to submit application for a family member? For the purpose of this video, let's just assume you're going to submit this for yourself. So no. Now it says, are you giving someone access to your application? So because your spouse is already in Canada on a student or a temporary work permit, let's just assume for the purpose of this video that they are doing the application on your behalf. And the reason we assume this, so that we can actually talk about the representative form. All right, but if you're not using your representative, either paid representative or your spouse, to do the application on your behalf, then you can just select no if you're doing the application for yourself. But for the purpose of this video, let's just select yes. So I will be appointing a representative to apply on my behalf. So then select next. So did your representative give you a submission letter? So because your representative in this case is your spouse, you don't need a submission letter. So just select no, click next. Next, in the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints and photo for an application to come to Canada? Let's assume you've never done that. So select no, click next. There are fees associated. Will you be paying? Yes, I'll be paying. Next. Are you able to make a digital copy of your documents? Yes. Next. Will you be paying your application fees online? Yes. So it basically gives you a review of all the answers that you've provided. Make sure to double check that all the answers are correct, and then you can simply click on continue. Okay, so once you get to this page, it gives you some instructions about how to upload your documents. So it says your forms and documents must be in electronic format. So we are going to upload all our digital documents online. Next, you do not need to sign your application form by hand if you submit your application form online. you'll be asked to provide a digital signature. So this is going to become critical in a second. Once you submit the application, you actually sign the application, entire application, by typing in your actual name, your full name, the name of the applicant, not the person doing the application for you. So there is an exception to this, and that exception is the use of a representative form. That form you and your representative will have to sign, online or offline, doesn't matter. So we are going to cover that later, but I just want to bring your attention to this signature portion. All right. Next, one file allowed per document type, which means you may actually have to combine your PDF or images under a specific section. All right, and that is where the maximum size criteria actually becomes critical. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but I just want you to be mindful of these instructions. All right. Next, you're going to click on continue, and you will get to the main application page where you will upload all your documents. So as you see, this is where you submit your application forms and your supporting documents. And once you're done with all the submission, there is a transmit and pay button that is going to show here. That is where you are going to either pay your fees directly or attach the receipt of your payment. So let's go through these documents one by one. So based on the criteria that you entered in the online portal when you were determining your eligibility, these are the documents that you will need to provide. These two forms are necessary and they're required. Obviously, the first form is the application for work permit. This is your main application form. Then there is the family information form, which we also saw in the visa specific requirements. Then your passport, your use of a representative form. So because you're using a representative, paid or unpaid, doesn't matter, you are going to fill this form and actually upload this also. Then your digital photo and your request for medical exam. So we are going to cover all that in a second. So under optional documents, you don't have to fill out this schedule 1 if you answered no to the background questions, but you will have to upload some other documents under the client information. So don't leave this. So what are those documents? So if I can quickly bring your attention back to the guide, and if I scroll all the way up, this is the guide 5487 that we looked at earlier. If you click on fill out the forms, these are the forms based on your outside Canada open work permit application and your country that you will need to provide. So number 1 is obviously the form 1295. Then there is this document checklist 5488. So as you can see in the online portal, there is no section to upload the document checklist. That's why you will upload the document checklist under the client information here. All right. Also, there is no section to upload this 5905 or the visa specific instruction guide that we saw earlier. So you're going to combine this guide with the document checklist and you're going to upload that here. Okay, and because you're going to be uploading other documents that we saw in this list 5905, which are your proof of education, work experience, personal funds and marriage certificate, and as you can see, there is no criteria or no field here for you to upload your marriage certificate. You are basically going to combine all those documents and upload under this client information. So don't be confused by this optional document section. Those documents are required. So any document that you cannot upload here, you have to upload those documents under client information. All right. So let's go through these forms and documents what are listed in this page first, and then we are going to summarize every other document that you also have to upload in the client information section. All right. Okay, so let's look at the first form, application for work permit made outside of Canada, form 1295. So you're going to click on this. It's going to open in another page. Click on this download button. It's going to save on your desktop or downloads folder. Open it from there. All right. So I've already downloaded and opened the form right here. So basically in this form, you're going to provide personal details. All right. So under UCI, if this is the first time you're applying, you won't have a UCI. So just list NA, and then the rest of the section here about personal details is fairly straightforward. Your name, date of birth, place of birth, country of residence. So provide all that. I'm not going to go over this because it's very simple to provide. Current marital status. So this is where you are going to provide, you're going to list married. And under country or territory where applying, you are going to select yes, because it's the same as the country of residence where you're living right now. Okay, so because you're in India and you're applying from India, you're going to select yes here. And then if you scroll down under personal details, you're going to provide details about your previous marriages or relationships. So if this is your first marriage, just select no. And then under native language, passport, national identity document, this information is fairly straightforward. So provide your passport number, your Aadhaar card number, and all the details that are associated with those documents here. All right. Then this is where you provide your residential address. Then under details of intended work in Canada, you are going to select open work permit. And because this is an open work permit, you won't have information about your employer. So just list NA here, 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 in all these fields from boxes 3 to boxes 5. You are just going to list NA because this is an open work permit. You don't have a employer specific work permit application. All right. So under education, you're going to list details about your highest level of post-secondary education. So we talked about this. If master's is your highest level, then you're going to list the information of master's here. If bachelor's is your highest level, you are going to provide bachelor's information here. All right. Make sure this agrees with the degree certificates and mark sheets that you are going to attach as supporting documents. All right. Now this is where it asks you to provide information about employment for the past 10 years. So however many years you have worked in the past 10 years, you are going to provide information about that here. The format is fairly straightforward. The date where you started the employment to the date where you ended the employment, and information about each specific employer if you changed employers, and the other information such as the activity, the city and country or territory or state where the employer was, and the name and contact number of the employer here. So for most of you, the 3 spaces that are mentioned here should be enough, but if you need more space, you can simply use a Word document and attach that Word document in the client information section in the online portal. All right. Okay. Next, under the background information, you are just going to select no for every question. If you select yes, then you will have to fill out the Schedule 1 form that is an optional document requirement. All right. But I'm guessing for most of you, this is going to be no. Just make sure you select no to all these boxes. Don't leave any of these boxes. All right. So once you're done, then select yes to consent to be contacted by IRCC. And then here you are not going to be able to sign, but you can simply type your full name here and just use this drop down box to select the date. All right. Now, if you are doing the application offline, which is not recommended, then you'll have to actually print this form out, sign it and send it along with your application packet. But as we saw earlier, we are doing the application online, so we don't have to actually sign this form. So you can simply type in your name and write the date, and don't worry about signature. Okay. Your signature would be your full name, which you will type towards the end of your online submission process. But there's another step here. There is this validate button here. So remember to click this validate and get the barcodes generated. Obviously, if I click it right now, because the form is incomplete, I am going to get a message such as this with red lines all over the form because I have not really completed the form. But once you finish the form, complete all the sections, when you click the validate button, you are going to see something that looks like this. All right, I'm just going to use another form as an example, but you are going to see these barcodes. Now, these mean that your application form is now complete. So make sure that you complete this form and validate it, because if you submit it without validation, your application will get rejected. All right, so once you've validated, then you're simply going to save this form and come back to this online portal. And this is where you'll click on upload and upload that completed and validated form. All right, don't worry about the signature for online. All right, next up is passport. So click on the question mark to read the instructions. Basically, you will be submitting the digital photocopy of the front page and the back page of your passport, and any pages in between that may have stamps if you traveled internationally in the past. All right, so you can simply take the pictures of the passport with your cell phone if you are good at it, or you can actually scan the passport for a much legible copy. Make sure that the copies are legible and very, very clear. All right, next up is the use of a representative form. So now this one is very important if you are using a representative. So if you are doing the application by yourself, then don't worry about this form. This is not even going to show up here because you will not select that when you are actually checking the eligibility criteria in the online portal. So you and your spouse, if they are doing the application for you, will both have to fill this form out, just the same form, single form, sign it, and then you will have to upload this on this online portal. So I have made an entire video explaining everything about this form, and that video should be showing up on the cards here. It's linked in the description below. It's called use of a representative. So check that video out if you've hired a paid consultant or an unpaid consultant such as your spouse or even a friend to do the application on your behalf. All right, next up is the digital photo. So click on the question mark, you'll get the instructions for temporary residence, which is your category. So simply take these instructions to your photographer. They will be able to take the photo and send you a digital copy which you can simply upload here. Now, if you are looking to compress the photo because it's larger than 4 megabytes, then you can actually go to some links online to compress. I've made an entire video about how to upload photos online. It should be showing up on the cards here, also linked in the description below. You don't have to watch the entire video, just go to that video and go to the section compress JPEG. Okay, so when you go to the compress photos section, I explain how to compress the photo from larger than 4 megabytes to less than 4 megabytes so that you can upload it to this portal, because remember, this is not going to allow uploads larger than 4 megabytes. So check that video out and you'll know everything about how to compress your digital photo. So next up is request for medical exam. So at this point, you don't really have to submit your medicals right away, but once your application is submitted and approved, you will get a request for medicals. So what you can do is you can click on this question mark. It's going to give you a link. So click on that link. It's going to open another page, IMM 5753. Scroll down and you are going to select yes, download this form, and then you are going to upload this form right here so that they'll know that they have to send instructions for medicals to you down the line. Okay, that's all you need to do for medicals at this point. All right, so we just covered all the documents that were listed in this page, but that is not enough. There are additional documents that you have to submit. So let's go back to the guide 5487 page. And when you get to fill out the forms, you'll see another document listed here, document checklist, that is not listed here, but you have to submit this document checklist also. All right, so this is a requirement. You have to submit this. So you're going to click this and it's going to open in another page. And in this document checklist, you are simply going to affirm what documents you are going to actually submit along with your application by simply checking those boxes. So for this application, you are submitting an application to work permit outside Canada. So you're going to check this box. You are submitting family information form. So check this box. Common law, if applies to you, then check it. But for this purpose, because it's a clear case of marriage, you don't have to check this box. If you are using a representative, you will have to check this box. In this case, we are, so I'll check this box. You can skip this one, authority to release personal information. Then fee payment, yes, you will check this box. A photocopy of the information page of passport, yes. Then 2 photos meeting the requirements. Now, because this is an online application, you are only uploading 1 photo, so you can actually skip this portion, right? Next, proof of current immigration status. So if your country or territory of residence differs from the citizenship, all right? So this is not the case for this particular scenario. You are in India and you are an Indian citizen, so you are not going to select this box, all right? Then photocopy of your marriage certificate. Yes, we are uploading that, so check this box. Next, proof indicating you meet the requirements of the job. So this is an open work permit, so you can skip this one. Copy of LMIA, you can skip this one because this is an open work permit. If working in Quebec, so you can skip this one. This doesn't apply to Quebec. Provincial nominee, this doesn't apply to that, so you can skip this. Next, if you're applying for a post-graduation work permit. So if this is the first time you're applying for Canada, you can skip this box. Any additional documents, so you are going to check this box because it says refer to the visa specific instructions. All right, so the visa specific instructions are in this 5905 checklist that we saw earlier, specific to India. So you are going to print this checklist out, check the boxes for the documents that you are uploading, and simply upload this checklist also. So now you have 2 checklists, one 5905, which is the country specific checklist for India, and the other one is 5488, which we just looked at. Now you will upload all this under this client information section, under upload file, okay? So to upload that, you're not going to be able to upload multiple times. So you will actually have to combine these 2 checklists along with all the supporting documents that you are going to be providing. So your proof of education, work experience, and all the other supporting documents that you are going to attach, you are going to combine all those into a single document, and then that single document is going to be uploaded in this client information section. All right. If you don't know how to combine these documents, then simply go to Google and click on combine PDF. All right. And there's multiple options here. Just select the first one, combine PDF. This is where you are going to upload all your files, all the checklists and the supporting documents. Make sure they're all same formats. It helps to have all of those as PDFs or JPEGs or similar format. It's easier for this application to then combine them. So just upload all your PDF files here and combine all of those into a single file. So once you upload and you hit combine, it's going to combine all those files, and then you can download that, and then you can go back to this portal and upload it here. But once you combine all your documents, they may actually be larger than 4 megabytes, which is not going to be allowed. So once you combine all your documents, make sure you also compress them. To compress, again, what you can do is you can go to Google and type in compress PDF, and again you will have a multitude of options to choose from. So just select the small PDF or I love PDF, whatever option works for you. So you're going to go to any of these links and then simply upload that combined file here, and it is going to compress it. So you will have to repeat compression until your file size is either 4 megabytes or less than 4 megabytes. So do that here, and once you are done with the compression, then you can simply come back here and upload that file under the client information section. So once you upload all your documents, an option of transmit and pay is going to show up here. It doesn't show up right now because we haven't uploaded any document, but once you upload the documents and all the documents are validated and correctly verified, then you will see the option of transmit and pay. So now you have two options. You can either click on that option, and then it's going to take you to the online portal where you can actually make the payment using your credit or debit card, or you can actually make the payment upfront and upload the receipt there. Okay, so let's actually look at how to make the payment upfront so that you know how much to pay and where to pay. So it's obviously going to be $340, but let's try to get to this amount from an online portal. So again, come back to the guide 5487, scroll down, click on step 3, pay the fees. When you scroll down further, you are going to get to online payment. So click here, then keep scrolling down until it gets you to this section, answer questions to get fees. All right. So once you get here, this is where you are going to select temporarily visit, work or study in Canada. Then click on continue. I'm coming alone, as we saw in this case. Then select work, continue, and then select work permit for any employer, open work permit, and I don't have a fee exemption. All right, because obviously we are paying the fee. Then do you need to pay for biometrics? Yes. And then it's going to give you a breakdown of all the amounts that you are required to pay with a total of $340. So once you log in, you will have to create an account or use your existing account. It's going to take you to the online payment portal or the payment gateway where you can use your credit card to make the payment. Once you make the payment, then you are going to get a receipt in your email, which you can then download and come back to this page and then upload in the payment portal. You can also even attach the payment receipt here in client information, but it is much better to actually pay using the transmit and pay option that shows up here. But I just showed you how you can make the online payment upfront. Okay, so now let's summarize all the documents and forms that you need to submit to complete this application. Number 1 is the application for work permit, $1295. Number 2 is the family information form, 5707. Number 3 is the use of a representative form if using a representative, form 5476. Number 4 is checklist 5488, that's the document checklist we saw earlier. Number 5 is the checklist 5905 or your country specific visa requirements. Number 6 is the education and work related supporting documents. Then your passport, your photo, your request for medical exam form, and finally your fee payment receipt. And that should complete all the documents and forms that you need to upload to complete your application. All right. So that was all about the open work permit application from outside Canada. Now, if you want to apply for open work permit from inside Canada, then the application process is slightly different, especially as it relates to the forms and supporting documents. But the overall in general idea is the same. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to make a video on the open work permit application from inside Canada. That's been it for this video. I will see you in the next one. And for those who stuck around until the end, here's a little treat. So, because you're in India, a spouse of someone who's already in Canada. That's been it for this video. I will see you. So that was all about the